Hello everyone, it's Mythology with Shamim. Today I'm here with one of the most famous stories of all time. It's tragic, but let's start. Medusa. Well, we all know about her story. Some of us think that she's a monster, some of us think that she was a victim. But regardless, let's start. Okay, I'm gonna go back in time and start from her parents, sea god and sea goddess, Ceto and Phorcys. Well, they were very old and primordial god and goddesses. They gave birth to 3 daughters. The most important one and the most beautiful one was Medusa. Well, Medusa was a gorgon with her sisters. We call them gorgon because they are a different, species. They have very strange bodies, mix of animal and human as well. And they are actually immortal. Well, her sisters were immortal, but she was not. She was the only sister who was beautiful, looked like a human, and she was mortal. That means that she could actually die any moment. So she didn't live with her sisters because of the way she looked. She lived with other people. Let's not forget that she was very beautiful. Her beauty was famous everywhere. And as it all goes in ancient Greek stories, when a woman is beautiful, she is not safe. She's either under spotlight, She's either attacked by a jealous goddess or a very, abusive god. That's why she devoted herself to the temple of Athena. So she wanted to be, a worker for Athena. She became an oracle, and that means that she didn't want to get married at all. She was all for Athena. Her life was okay. She passed by a lot of people, and a lot of them fell in love with her, but she rejected them. One day she was walking by a seashore, and when you're walking by a seashore in ancient Greek times, Poseidon is always watching you. Poseidon saw Medusa, and everything goes, wrong and south right there. He fell in love with her, let's say, and she rejected him because, well, she's working for Athena. That means that she's not going to get married at all. And also she didn't like him. He did not stop there, Unfortunately, he was abusive, and she took advantage of her against her own will. She was broken mentally and physically, and she ran away to the temple of Athena asking for help and protection from the goddess, Athena herself. Athena saw everything, and either she misunderstood the whole story or she felt jealous. But the thing is that Athena could not do anything against Poseidon because Poseidon, Zeus, and Hades are primordial gods. They're powerful. That's the part that is very sad and tragic. Athena thought that Medusa seduced Poseidon, so she got angry and turned her immediately to a monster. But not any monster. She turned her to a gorgon, just like her sisters. Ugly and, very dangerous. Some say Athena took pity on her and gave her the power of archery. Well, whatever happened right there, Medusa turned to be a very dangerous, ugly monster. Her hair started growing very poisonous snakes. And whoever looked at her, actually, whoever who was a man, looked at her and turned to stone. She goes into her solitude, into a cave, and for the rest of her life she lives there until one day someone kills her. That person is Perseus. Well, let's start the story short right here. Perseus was an ancient Greek mythological hero. Well, he was living his life normally until Polydectes, the king of a land, falls in love with his mother. But his mother doesn't want the king, and the king is abusive. Well, Polydectes was not going to stop. He wanted to marry his mother. Let's say marry. Well, that's why he sends Perseus on a journey. He says, Perseus, you need to kill Medusa. And he says, okay. Athena helps Perseus a lot. Well, Athena has a beef with Medusa, old story. And during his journey, he has a lot of help from a lot of creatures and gods and goddesses. So let's start from the beginning. He starts his journey by actually visiting the Greys. Well, the Greys were 3 witches that gave him the power of foresight. Then they send him to Hesperides. Hesperides are again 3 female nymphs, very beautiful, very powerful. They gave him a bag, a magical bag. That bag was for Medusa's head actually, because the plan was he has to cut her head off, but don't forget she still has the power to turn everybody to stone. So he had to put that head, decapitated poor head, into that bag. After that, during his journey, step by step, other gods and goddesses help him. The other help, the biggest help actually comes from his father, because Perseus is a demigod, half god, half human. Zeus gives him a very magical and powerful sword. That sword can cut everything immediately into pieces. Then he gets the Helm of Darkness from Hades. That helmet or helm turns him invisible. That's actually very good and powerful because, well, Medusa cannot see him. Then he gets very magical winged shoes from Hermes. Hermes is a god, is a messenger god. So he flies, and it's because of his shoes. So he can fly easily to the cave, so there's no waste of time. And the last gift was from Athena herself, a shield which is polished so perfectly so he can see the reflection of Medusa on that shield. He enters the cave and battles Medusa, cuts her head off unfortunately, puts that decapitated head in that bag, and then the other journey starts. Well, it's a long story. He uses that head to turn anything actually against him into stone, but the most important and the last part is he sees Polydectes at the end of his journey, and suddenly he realizes that Polydectes is married to his mother forcefully. He gets angry, and to take revenge, he takes the head of Medusa and turns it against Polydectes. Then Polydectes turns into stone. He has nothing to do with the head anymore, and he gives that head directly to Athena. Athena turns that head into a shield. That shield is so powerful that she uses it. Also, Zeus uses it in his battles. That is the usage of that decapitated poor head of Medusa. Well, this is the story of Medusa, but personally, I want to conclude it with a message. First of all, ancient times were not very friendly with female characters. Anyone who was jealous of you or wanted to take advantage of you, if they didn't get what they wanted, they will turn you to a monstrous creature. And how sad is the story that the female character is the victim and she had no protection. That brings me here to say modern world is getting a little better and respectful towards women, and this story should be a cornerstone for us women to protect ourselves, and to be strong against abusive, people. That is one, and the other one is that we need to always be vigilant against dangers. And if you are actually interested in more mythological stories, well, you can check my story on Orpheus, Arachne, and Narcissus. And actually, if you have any more stories about your culture, about your mythology, please comment on the comment section, and I would love to give a presentation about it. Thank you.